out by Providence, and the beneficiaries of such unparalleled human excellence would choose or tolerate a course that ensures their own decline and enslavement. For a government unleashed on the civil society is a government that destroys the nature of man. And in Ameritopia, I discuss at great length natural law and the nature of man. On September 17, 1787, at the conclusion of the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia, Delegate James Wilson, on behalf of his ailing colleague from Pennsylvania, Benjamin Franklin, read aloud Franklin's speech to the convention in favor of adopting the Constitution. Among other things, Franklin said that the Constitution, quote, is likely to be well administered for a course of years, and can only end in despotism as other forms have done before it, when the people shall become corrupt as to need despotic government, being incapable of any other, unquote. When you hear Harry Reid and Chuck Schumer and Dick Durbin, you hear them preaching to what they hope is a corrupt people leading despotic government. Exactly what Franklin feared. And so I asked this question in Ameritopia. By the way, another book that I wrote myself, another book that I researched, provided the scholarship myself, I asked these questions. Have we become corrupt? Are we in need of despotic government? It appears that some modern-day leading lights think so, as they press their fanatical utopianism. Right? Let me move along here quickly. And I say this. It is neither prudent nor virtuous to downplay or dismiss the obvious that America has already transformed into Ameritopia. The centralization and consolidation of power in a political class that insulates its agenda in entrenched experts and administrators whose authority is also self-perpetuating is apparent all around us and growing more formidable. The issue is whether the ongoing transformation can be restrained and then reversed, or whether it will continue with increasing zeal, passing from a soft tyranny to something more oppressive. And you see, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I wrote the Liberty Amendments, because I was raising these questions with you and myself. Who are we? What have we become? And what can we do? In the end, can mankind stave off the powerful and dark forces of utopian tyranny? Well, John Locke was surely right about man's nature in the civil society. He was also right about that which threatens them. Was he not? Ironically and tragically, it seems that liberty and the Constitution established to preserve it are not only essential to the individual's well-being and happiness, but also an opportunity for the devious to exploit them and connive against them. Man has yet to devise a lasting institutional answer to this puzzle. The best that can be said is that all that really stands between the individual and tyranny is a resolute and sober people. It is the people, after all, around whom the civil society has grown and governmental institutions have been established. At last, the people are responsible for upholding the civil society and republican government to which their fate is moored. The essential question, as I wrote in Ameritopia, is whether in America the people's psychology has been so successfully warped, the individual spirit so thoroughly trounced, and the civil society's institutions so effectively overwhelmed that revival is possible. Have too many among us already surrendered or been conquered? Can the people overcome the constant and relentless influences of ideological indoctrination, economic manipulation, and administrative coerciveness? Or have they become hopelessly entangled in and dependent on a ubiquitous federal government? Have the Pavlovian appeals to radical egalitarianism and the fomenting of jealousy and faction through class warfare and collectivism condition the people to accept or even demand compulsory uniformity as just and righteous? Is it accepted as legitimate and routine that the government has sufficient license to act whenever it claims to do so for the good of the people and against the selflessness of the individual? I should say selfishness of the individual. No society is guaranteed perpetual existence. But I have to believe that the American people are not ready for servitude. For if this is our destiny, and the destiny of our children, I cannot conceive that any people, now or in the future, will successfully resist it for long. I have to believe that this generation of Americans will not condemn future generations to centuries of misery and darkness. The Tea Party movement is a hopeful sign. Its members come from all walks of life in every corner of the country. These citizens have the spirit and enthusiasm of the Founding Fathers, proclaim the principles of individual liberty and rights in the Declaration, and insist on the federal government's compliance with the Constitution's limits. This explains the utopian fury against them. They are astutely aware of the peril of the moment, but there are also the Pollyannas and blissfully indifferent citizens who must be roused and enlisted, lest the civil society continue to unravel and eventually dissolve, and the despotism long feared take firm hold.